Hello and welcome. My name is Scott Suskovic. I'm pastor at Christ Lutheran Church, and welcome to this podcast that we call Deeper Dive, in which we take a look at the previous Sunday's sermon and go at a deeper level for a great conversation. We're glad you're here.
You are in the deep end as we dive even so deeper in our podcast. I'm Pastor Ryan.
And Pastor Adrian here.
And we are going to get deeper and hopefully more shallow at the same time.
Like a parable.
Like a parable. It can have multiple meanings. Hopefully this podcast will leave you enlightened and wanting more. Ooh, look at me. I'm on it today.
Lots of oil today.
Oil? Hey, that's the topic of our parable.
Yes, it is. So you preached on the bridesmaids, the 10 virgins with the oil and the lamps.
Yep, the foolish and the wise.
Foolish and the wise.
Here, recap it for us. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't put you on the spot.
So
like
that's
that.
all right. Well, you fill in where I may leave gaps. But so there's a wedding. There's a wedding banquet happening.
Yep.
And tradition was that you'd wait for the bridegroom to come. And these virgins were waiting with their oil lamps, waiting for this bridegroom to come.
Yep.
And whatever happened, the bridegroom's delayed, and they're waiting.
So it doesn't say this in the Bible, but I'm pretty sure I know what happened. Is he went to go pick up his bride, and she was supposed to be 3 goats, and the father-in-law said, no, it's 2 goats, and so then they had to figure out, how many chickens make up a goat, so that.
And how many chickens are in a horse?
I don't know. Obviously, we're being facetious. We don't know that, but something delayed them. Obviously, Jesus doesn't care. That's not the important part.
Yeah.
The important part was. He was delayed.
He's delayed. Yeah, and it seems like a long time this person's delayed.
Yeah, midnight, right?
Yeah, midnight. So I don't know what time. It could have been an afternoon wedding.
You know what?
I
didn't do the research, but we probably could have figured out how much oil does your average lamp hold, and then given the time of year, we might have been able to figure out when was sunset, and then we could have said, okay, well, it holds 2 or 3 or 4 hours of oil, and then so. All right, so there we go. So they're at midnight, sunset was at 8, must be summer.
Yeah,
And now they're out of oil, and...
What was the voltage? We don't know, but what was the timing? And so it sounds like some of them, their oil lamps were full, and some brought like just enough.
Well, so they all had the same amount of oil in their lamp to begin with, but half of them had another reserve.
Oh, okay. See, I missed that part. And how many times have I heard this parable?
And it's not explained. It's one of these cultural things. You're just supposed to kind of know.
Okay.
And the real question is, why would they have done that? And I mean, I guess maybe that's part of Jesus' parable. Why would they have brought extra oil? That's ridiculous. The groom's supposed to be coming. The fact that they brought lamps to begin with meant that they were prepared.
Yeah.
So these women are overly prepared.
Overly prepared.
Yeah, they've gone above and beyond.
Do they know the bridegroom? And he's like, Tony, not our Tony.
No.
I mean, like the name.
But we all
Example.
know
Let's see
people in this
what's the
world.
nondescript name.
Kevin.
Okay. Kevin.
Kevin's our tech guy, by the way. But we all know people
Peter.
in our word. And
he's always late. Yeah, bring extra oil. So some of them knew him, some of them didn't.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, not on his wedding day. Come on. He's not going to be late for the party. It's his own party.
Yeah.
And then sure enough,
It runs
Peter
out.
can't get his acting gear or whatever.
Yeah.
He gets lost. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? We don't get to know what happens or what the delay is. We know they're waiting. And so some of the lamps go out.
Yeah, and what we're supposed to understand is they don't go out as much as they are about to go out. So, and we learn that if you pay attention, it says that they take the wicks and they start trimming them. So what that means is that it would have been charcoal, it would have been burnt. So they would have pulled them up and cut them so that the wicks would have been longer. But this means now you've done 2 things. One is you're going to burn oil faster, and depending on the length of your wick, it might not reach the low level of oil.
Wow.
Okay. So you're ready, and all of a sudden, you don't have the equipment. That's where we are.
Okay.
For whatever reason, right?
So is it not so much the oil as the equipment? It's both.
Something's gone wrong. You aren't prepared. You thought you were, and you're not. That's what we're supposed to get.
Wow,
And then
okay.
you look at those five other goody two shoes who have just done it perfectly.
Goody two shoes.
You swallow
Yeah.
the first thought and you ask for some oil.
Yeah. Now, Pastor Ryan, this is, as you say, your favorite parable.
It's probably my second favorite parable. My favorite parable is the one that's run right after this
Oh,
one.
okay.
But yeah, no, this is absolutely
Okay,
Matthew
one of the
25
tops.
is
Okay.
it's
Well,
good
tell
stuff.
us how did it become your second favorite?
Yeah, okay. Well, it became because of this, because there is so much depth about what it is. And then the interpretation, I think, is often just kind of, be prepared. And that's absolutely true. Be prepared. All of Matthew 24, the parable or the chapter before this one, is Jesus talking about the second coming of the Messiah, or the coming of the Messiah, and what that looks like, and how
Yeah.
you have to be prepared. Don't get confused about other messiahs who are coming, right? Don't take bad advice. And actually, I take that, and that's how I got to this understanding, because those wise bridesmaids did exactly what Jesus in 24 said don't do. Don't listen to them. They're false messiahs. They're telling you falsehoods. They're not giving you a truth that is useful for you, who's supposed to be looking for the Messiah. And then those wise bridesmaids stay put and tell all of the foolish ones to leave. The foolish ones leave. Again, you're taking your eyes off the prize. And that's why I love this one, because it is a parable about an entire chapter beforehand. It's-
Okay, yeah.
Right. All of 24 is Jesus telling everybody what to do, and then he gives a parable about what to do about it. And then here's the other thing: if you understand 25, the first parable in 25, then you understand the second parable in 25. Now we're going to preach on that one in a couple 3 weeks from now. That's the parable of the talents.
Okay, yeah. And I think you're preaching that one too,
I am
right?
preaching that
so
one.
you'll get to have the whole setup and everything.
And it'll be a doozy.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah.
I expect full doozy mode for this sermon. I'm ready. I'm bracing myself.
Okay, yeah. So, but anyway, this parable, I think if you understand 24, that makes perfect sense. But if you don't understand 24, then it's basically a parable that says, well, you have to do your homework, and you have to be good, and you have to do all your good works righteous, and you have to sell everything you own and go to pastor school.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, whatever the next thing is, go be a Lutheran because they're the best, right? I don't know. Yeah, somebody's going to take that and put it out of context.
Oh,
no, Jesus loves all of the Christians,
true.
all of them, not just one.
That's right. That's right. Well, we just like to argue we have good theology.
Well, we do have
So
good
we do. We have
theology.
awesome stuff. So let me ask you. So when you were preaching and thinking about like the wise and the foolish ones, I was thinking, what should they have done?
Yeah. What would you have done? What were you thinking?
I mean, what I was thinking is, could it have become a parable about like being in community, like the ones who don't have the light and they stayed anyway?
Yeah.
They're like coupling, like holding arms and sharing a lamp.
Yeah.
What is it about that they couldn't all go as a group, or they just be like, oh, they're lighting the way a little bit, like someone has, when someone has a flashlight and you don't, and just like try to stand near them when you're
Yeah.
walking in the dark
Yeah.
forest, like is that what they should have done?
I think that's exactly what they should have done.
Okay.
Right? There's another line where Jesus calls the Pharisees, and we could have easily interpreted this as the Pharisees who are the most prepared. Being blind. He says that they are that. He says that the Pharisees are it's like the blind leading the blind. Okay, but now you have somebody who has a light. So even if you're blind, at least the humility to know that you don't have the light is still a good place. See, this is the beauty, right? That your
Yeah,
interpretation,
like that.
right
Oh,
on,
thank you.
right?
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with what you said. I can look at it exactly what Jesus says is what you're saying. Okay, check.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the beauty about parables, right? Is
Yeah.
that you do have to and get to wrestle with them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people appreciate it. I appreciate your message. Like, yeah, there are other ways what you can glean from this parable. But I think maybe each of us may have a certain leaning that at some point in our lives we like,
Sure.
or have, and Jesus is very intentional about what he's teaching.
Oh,
I think.
yeah,
So,
he's trying to
spot
get-
on. Like there's a purpose to
Yeah.
it, not just some detail. Every detail has some meaning probably in
Oh,
a parable,
yeah.
I think.
And you're right. That's the other thing. Actually, when we read the Bible, that's one of the beautiful things about it, because you wouldn't have written down anything that was superfluous. Like everything that was written for a purpose. There's only so much space on that papyrus, that piece of. We didn't have paper. They couldn't just pump it out.
Yeah.
So if it was written down, it was important. every detail. And so we should look at every detail.
Yeah. Any idea about the number? Like any significance of the number?
10?
Yeah. Anything?
Never thought about it, frankly.
Okay.
This is the first
No,
time
and
I've
10
literally
isn't a
thought-
meaningful number.
It isn't a meaningful number.
And so I was just curious, every detail matters. And I just didn't know if, when we research, I don't know. I mean, usually it's 7, 12.
Yeah, 7 and 12.
7 and 12, 40.
40, 3.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And you're right. Like, as that system goes, the Babylonians would have had a base 12 system. So for you and us, 10 sounds great. That's just a nice round number. Sure, why not 10? 5, 10, 15, 20. Sure, right. But that's not really how they would have thought. It's an interesting concept that the placeholder 0 didn't...
Yeah.
they didn't have 0.
That is interesting.
It is an interesting way to think. So, like, when we hear 10, to say, well, what's the meaning there? You're absolutely right. There's probably something there.
We should dig into that.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't either. I just thought it's an interesting. They were numbered. It wasn't just a group, or but there was a number. So I don't know. Maybe we can see what we find and come back with something. Side note next time.
Well, then you start getting into like weird numerology. You know this?
Yeah, that's true.
Right, like, oh, okay, yeah. So 10 is divisible by 2 and 5, and the sum of 2 and 5
equals 7.
Oh, and that must be meaningful because Jesus must have had 7 toes. Yes, it's all coming together.
All makes sense now.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you know Jesus had 7 toes?
I did not.
No, I don't either.
I wouldn't
to
venture to know.
But that's what numerology is, right? We're just going to start looking into
Yeah.
the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, why 10? You know why 10? Because it's divisible evenly. That's my bet, right?
okay.
Here's 5 and here's 5.
Here's 5.
That was my bet.
Okay, so the wise and the foolish. So
Right.
equals numbers of both.
But of course, again, why not 12? 12 would have been an easily divisible number and readily available. I don't know. I don't have any answers for you.
Yeah.
Some things will remain a mystery.
But so much comes down of getting to talk about these parables. It's awesome that we can ask the question and, think about it a little bit. So this is kind of like a waiting and preparedness parable.
Yeah.
Do you know if it comes during the Advent season, which we should be thinking about being watchful and prepared for Jesus always, but Advent is really when we kind of focus on it.
I bet it does. And if you were at worship, you'll notice that our music director, Mark, picked a whole bunch of Advent music.
Yes, Joy to the World.
Joy to
we
the
got to sing
World.
Joy to the World. That was awesome.
Isn't that
That's
fun?
true. Yeah,
that wasn't
was
a
fun.
Christmas in July moment. We
Yeah.
actively thought, hey, you know what? That's what we're doing here, right? Is recognizing that Christ has come into the world, and then what happens next? Okay, so let's pay attention to that, right?
Yeah.
Literally pay attention to the Christ's second coming and that he has already come.
Yeah, both of those. Yeah. We were at camp and we talked about the seasons of the church. And so Advent was Monday, of course. But we got to Christmas and, there's not like a date identified as a time for Christmas. And we do think it probably wasn't the winter when we associate with the winter solstice. But some people across the globe, they celebrate Christmas in hot weather. And it was really interesting to be put out of that cold, wintry celebration of Christmas. Like it is very much like this, hot and humid and sweaty for people who celebrate Christmas.
In the southern hemisphere
And to think
of the
about,
world.
to go through the holiday in a completely different season.
Or just live in Florida.
That, you know what, that's true. Just live in Florida. One season, it's Florida season. It's summer.
Yeah, it is interesting because the whole purpose of the 25th was a northern hemisphere decision because of, if I understand right, the potential pagans were they had the shortest night of the year, right, and so they were trying to the church fathers in Europe were trying to wipe out that holiday. Now, this was how I was taught it, right? They were trying to wipe out the holiday, and so they instituted Christmas so that the pagans who became Christians could then have a holiday to worship, to celebrate at that time. And the old pagan holiday was the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice. I've done some research, and I've actually learned that maybe that's not the case.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
Maybe not. But to your point, if you're in Australia and you're celebrating Christmas, it's the longest day
America?
of the year for you,
Ah, okay.
right? Because
yeah.
the axis of the Earth is tilted towards the sun, and so you're getting more sun in the way that our summer gives us more sun.
Yeah.
That's why you're hot. because
Yeah.
the Earth's tilt is tilted towards. Interestingly enough, last week I believe we were the furthest away from the sun as the planet goes. So
Really?
there you go.
It did not feel that way.
No, because the real thing is about the tilt, not the
Yeah.
distance.
That's good.
The light hitting our atmosphere or
Yeah.
not. And there you go. So the bottom line, I think, is the takeaway here is letting your light not be your light. It's to let your light be Christ's light. To focus on that.
Yeah, don't get distracted.
Don't get distracted.
Yeah.
And to come to Christ, even with your imperfections, and especially with Him, right? Don't leave and try and make it perfect. Don't leave and try and hide. Don't leave and, I don't know, don't leave. Go to church anyway.
Do it anyway. Go anyway.
Didn't you say? Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. It's just this great line.
Yeah.
What sermon was that?
Oh, fan the flame. No, I don't remember now. Was it Mother's Day?
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
But it was a great rhetorical, pastoral,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Really, like use the
you.
phrase, go to church anyway. Go to church
Do it
anyway.
anyway.
Do
Go
it
anyway.
And
Yeah.
it's the same concept,
Yeah.
right? Go to
Yeah.
Christ anyway.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for your awesome sermon on Sunday. And we continue with parables.
Yes, we do. Pastor Scott's got another parable for us next week as we continue in our sermon series, Tales from the Christ. Christ.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.